everybody. I'm Kelly Blanchard, the author of the Chronicles of Lorik series, and I play Syphina in the Grand Quest game. With me today is Matthew, who plays Treyvor. Matthew, how are you doing today? It's great to have you.
It's good to be here. Hi everyone. Like she said, I'm Matt, and I'm doing good today.
I know is Matthew's actually my husband, so we're going to talk sometime about what it's like to play with your spouse. But first, Matthew, when did you start playing D&D?
God, I was freshman in college when I first started playing, and that was like a Star Wars, like Age of the Empire type thing with me and a couple of my friends, and shortly after that Pathfinder. So it's been about 14, 15 years almost.
Wow. So, how exactly were you introduced? You said the Star Wars, but you had some friends that introduced. How did that work?
Yeah, it was a couple of my roommates, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna be doing this Star Wars like tabletop Dungeons and Dragons thing. Are you interested?" And I'm a huge nerd, and my roommates were huge nerds, so I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I actually ended up playing like a clone trooper. We only got to do like 2 or 3 sessions before school just got in the way of everything. But
Hmm.
yeah,
But you
that
had fun.
was
You've been doing it ever since.
yeah, exactly. I've been doing it ever since.
So, do you also DM?
Yes, I last year I started DMing for the first time. I'm still relatively new to it. I was running a campaign at with some coworkers that I had to step back from just because time didn't permit. But I'm currently running a campaign on Monday nights with some friends of ours online.
Hmm.
So
It's an
I
interesting
have a little
setting.
bit of experience. I'm still kind of getting used to the planning and the encounter building and everything else that comes with DMing. All of that is a big challenge. It's a lot simpler to be a player for sure, but being a
Hmm.
DM is a lot of fun.
I hope that sometime you do run a campaign with Storyteller Tales and it gets on YouTube. So, hey.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite class to play?
Um, right now, the one that I'm having the most fun with is Paladin, because that's probably as far as I've gotten with a class before. But I've done Sorcerer, and I've done, well, I'm going to be doing very soon Bard. So I'm trying a little bit of everything out just to kind of see.
So, what is your least favorite class?
Um, I don't necessarily have a least favorite class. Um, I have classes that just don't strike me as particularly interesting to play. It could just be because I'm not familiar with it or I don't really know it. But really, the only one that sticks out for me like that is Artificer.
Mm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, is there a class that you have not yet played but you would like to?
Um, Probably a Warlock. I haven't really had the chance to venture into that class a whole lot yet. Um, like playing like Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff like that, getting to do it on there, it's kind of fun, but at the same time, Baldur's Gate 3 is not 5e.
It's not.
Um, that's something that a lot of people seem to mix up, and it's something that even I, as a player, sometimes fall into the trap of. So I'm like, oh, this is like a bonus action or stuff like that. No, rules is written in 5e. That's not the case. But that also comes from like playing with like multiple campaigns and homebrewed settings and rules and stuff like that. So it's just every table comes with a learning curve, and Warlock is probably one of the ones that I would want to try next. That would be the most interesting to me.
That's good. That's good. It's very fascinating. Just don't Eldritch Blast everything.
Yeah.
So, what role do you normally take when you are playing? Like, are you a tank? Are you a healer? What is it that you tend to do?
I typically fall into the category of tank. The last campaign that I was sorry, the last campaign that I was playing, it was a mixture of fighter and rogue that was going to be changing into fighter and paladin, and I was pretty much the frontline skirmisher, the fighter, the one that was drawing everything's attention for the team. That just kind of happens to be the role I usually fall into. So playing as a bard and playing as other classes would be really interesting because I can't do that.
Yeah, I understand. It's like me. I just do healing for the most part. So yeah, anything else is interesting. So when you create a character, how do you go about that? Do you think about their backstory, or do you focus on the build or the personality? How do you go about it?
Um, I start with the build. I start with, okay, what role am I filling in the party? And then I go from there. So if I'm going to be a tank, if I'm going to be a fighter or a paladin or a barbarian or something like that, I start with the build, and then once I have a build in mind, I'll be like, okay, who is this character? What is their motivation? What is their background? All of that.
That's fantastic. You do a very good job with building your characters. So
Thank you.
okay. So as I mentioned, you are my husband, and we play D&D
Yep.
together. So before we met, though, before we knew each other, did you hope that when you met your future wife, that you would be playing D&D with her?
Honestly, no. It wasn't something that was really at the forefront of my mind until about the time that I actually really started playing again, like right after COVID, because I kind of ended up taking some time off. The other campaigns that I had been in had fizzled out, and I had lost touch with everyone. And it wasn't until I joined like an entirely different server with some friends of mine that I started playing again, and brought everything back, and was like, oh hey, this is something that my wife might really, really, really enjoy.
Took you a lot of convincing.
Yeah, it took a lot of convincing to get you to step out of your comfort zone and be willing to try it. And now I think you're more into it than I am, so I think that's
Like you're
awesome.
on, so what has been your experience though playing with your wife? Has it been a good experience? Have you enjoyed it, or is it hard?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Being able to kind of coordinate like your characters and your backstories outside of the game, plan, hey, this is stuff that I would like to happen. This is like a dynamic that I would like to have. This is the character you're building. These are its strengths and weaknesses. So let me build something that plays off of those strengths and weaknesses, and vice versa. It's interesting. It brings a really cool. I think it brings a really cool dynamic to a table to um, have a spouse team that are players in the game, because that opens up the door for some really good RP. It opens up the door for some really good teamwork and stuff like that.
I think the downside to it though is we can't be in the same room. We would play
Yeah,
special
that's
role
that's
playing.
definitely a downside. I mean, obviously, even just doing this, we're sitting in separate rooms on the other side of the house so that we're not interfering with each other's sound. But that's I'd say that's really the only drawback to it. Getting the chance to um, come up with these characters and stories and stuff like that, and interact within the confines of this campaign that's been created is really cool.
Yes, for sure. So, do our characters usually end up together?
Well, we haven't really played enough for that to happen. But in a previous campaign that we played, yes, our characters were actually an established couple in that game. This one, it could be heading that way currently, but it's not always the case. Another game that you and I just started, our characters don't even know each other yet. So,
Not yet. Good night. So, what would you say to people, couples that want to play D&D with the spouse and so forth? What advice would you give them?
give it a shot. Absolutely. Talk to each other, communicate. Do like the creating and brainstorming process together. If you're joining an already established team, talk to the DM, talk to the other players, see what the mechanics are. A session 0 is really, really helpful. Just in terms of like figuring out what the dynamics are going to be and stuff like that. But it gives you something to do with each other, and it gives you something to do with friends. It's not necessarily in the realm of the mundane or ordinary. I mean, we could go out. We live in the heart of East Texas. We could go out and go to a bar and go dancing, but that's not something that either of us enjoys. We would much rather just be sitting in the comfort of our own home, relaxing, enjoying each other's company, and getting to hang out with friends. And I think that particularly if you are the type of person that does enjoy D&D, you're going to lean more towards the side of wanting to be in and be comfortable and be surrounded by a smaller, closer-knit group that you're more familiar with. So I can't think of a reason it would be bad. In fact, I know of a few people that were not couples when they started playing D&D and ended up getting married because their character dynamic in D&D, like their characters got married in the game and the DM was just sitting there looking at them like this. I'm just waiting for them to realize that it wasn't their characters. They actually had developed feelings for each other. So,
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
yeah.
All right, so we have to talk about Treyvor because I haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah.
So, you play Treyvor the Paladin in the Grand Quest. What was your inspiration for him?
110% ripped off of Trevor Belmont from the Castlevania series on Netflix. Like, aside from like the class, because like there's an actual like specific way to build him as a class, but the rough and tumble marshal from a disgraced noble family, kind of abrasive, kind of gruff, but underneath all of it, there's actually like a heart of gold underneath of there. That's kind of what I was going for with that. And like the only reason that it's not just an absolute shameless cut and paste is because I didn't build Trevor Belmont. I went a totally different way with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's different from Trevor Belmont for sure. I can see similarities, but he's definitely his own self, which is fascinating. So, yeah, he's a good character. So, 1 second, all right. Does Trip trust the team?
Yeah, he does in general. Like right now there's 1 or 2 things that are going on that he's kind of concerned about, but in general, he trusts everyone. He wants everyone to be okay. And he's very much at the mindset, even though they've only been together like a week at this point, that he's going to do everything in his power to keep everyone on the team safe.
He does a good job of that. So, if you had to describe each character with 1 word, how would you describe them?
Rapid's gonna absolutely kick my ass for this, but Sif, he would be like puppy. Oscar, it would be kid. Syphina, it would be terrifying. Kane, it would be concern.
Concern.
Yeah.
Why is Serafina terrifying though? I don't think she's terrifying.
The whole like magical avatar of a death god thing. That's
Avatar, but I mean, she's
like the
just
whole like
eyes
glowing
glowing.
eyes and
Oh,
pulling souls out of the fire and all of that stuff. All of that is absolutely terrifying to him.
oh, okay. Well, sorry. So, okay, I'm hoping that that's not the answer to this next question, which is, what is Treyvor most afraid of?
Um, honestly, right now he's most afraid of someone on the team. He's not really concerned about anything else at the moment. Just trying his best to keep the team alive.
Does he have a wish that he never came to Valordis?
Oh no, he doesn't wish that at all. I mean, one of his kind of token phrases at this point is "I fucking hate this place." That's valid. He hates the place. It doesn't mean he doesn't wish that he wishes that he wasn't there or something like that.
But what would his life have been like if he had stayed back in Alloy?
Not great. I mean, disgraced noble family, working with a knightly order that didn't like him and didn't trust him and didn't respect him, and apparently has, without giving away too many spoilers, a lot of sketchy shit going on in the background for them. It's him being there is probably the best thing that could have happened to him at that moment.
Interesting. So, there has been instances in the game where Kane has tried to attack Treyvor. Are we ever going to get a full-out brawl between those two? Because I'm just waiting for that to happen.
It's possible. It's something that I would need to talk to Kane's character or Kane's player and the DM about. Because so far he's been trying really hard for the most part to exercise some restraint in that. But like specifically with this last fight, it was a situation where it's the worst possible moment and the vampire in our party loses control and starts trying to attack the tank. So in character, that's a situation that has him really concerned, and it could end up being something along the lines of a conversation that's more to the tune of the next time you bare your fangs to anyone in this party will be the last time, or it could end up just being a brawl. But it's one of those things that as a player I'm trying to think of what's best for the story. And what's best for the story could be a knockdown, drag-out fight. It could be exercising restraint, or it could be the next time that Kane's character loses control and attacks Treyvor, Treyvor hits them with a divine smite and knocks them down. So it's one of those difficult situations, kind of as a player, because I don't particularly like PvP. There's just too many ways for hurt feelings to come from PvP. But with this particular situation in the story, not only is a PvP response something that is potentially compelling for the story, but it's something that might actually be forced to happen in story. It's just one of those things. There's a lot of different factors at play there.
For sure. We'll have to see what happens. Now, Treyvor and Oscar have a very interesting past, which is Treyvor got hit by Oscar really, really hard when Oscar was in, warhorse form. And then Oscar just kind of like made an explosion happen and almost killed all of us.
Yeah, the first
But
almost TPK.
but Treyvor is almost dead. Pulled Oscar out. Why did he do that? We had just met Oscar. What was Treyvor's reason for that?
In character, to his core, Treyvor is very much someone who is trying to be a better man than the people who have been his example. He's trying very much to live up to the standards and ideals of what he believes a paladin, any paladin, should be. Oscar's character, despite the absolutely garbage luck that session, was very much trying to help, and it was very clear that he was trying to help. And I didn't want to just abandon a party member, even though it was their very first session. I'm not someone who's going to abandon a party member if there is any possible way that I can try to get them out. And it was close, but I got them out, and I feel like it really was a good story moment as well.
I think it was very, very honorable of Treyvor. So I think you did
Yeah.
well. So what are Treyvor's hopes and dreams for the future? Does he have any?
He's not thinking that far ahead right now. If you had asked him a week ago in game, if you'd asked him a week ago, it would be like getting his family's honor restored. If you asked him that question right now, it would be living through the next 5 minutes and then figuring out what the next thing is, because he's learned a lot over the course of the past week that's making him question everything that he's thought he knew or understood about life back home and life here, and who he is and who his family is and who his superiors are, all of that. So the short answer to that question is right now he doesn't know.
That's why he's not thinking of the future.
Yes.
So if you had to describe the Grand Quest game with one word, what would that be?
Fantastic. I absolutely love RP heavy games. I love games where there is a really well fleshed out world and a story and all of that. I'm used to combat being toned down a little bit, so the challenge is interesting. There are times where I'm really, really, really on edge as a player in this campaign. But I think, again, that is a testament to the storytelling and the gameplay. It's definitely one of the better campaigns that I have played in, for sure.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So why should people take the time to listen to Storyteller Tell's Grand Quest game?
If you're going into it expecting like Matt Mercer or Brennan Mulligan, that's not what I would go into it expecting. The reason you should go into it is because we're a group of people with varying backgrounds. None of us really are professional voice actors or actors. You, me, and Pat are professional storytellers, but everyone is building on this. You are getting to see something that's being built from the ground up. You're getting to see players with a lot of experience and players with no experience evolving in real time. Excuse me. If you are if you are looking to start something new and fresh from the ground level, that is absolutely why I would recommend you starting with Storytellers, because you're getting to see something evolve from very early, we're just using whatever free resources we have available to us, to growing into something that is professional quality.
And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of humor, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of heart. It is. Pat does a really great job with building the story, and all of the players make it. It's just fun all around.
It really, really is. Well, that is all the questions I have for you. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and to answer these questions. It's great to talk to you and to get a little bit behind the scenes with Treyvor. So thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Okay, well, you take care.
All right, bye
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. If you like the story so far, leave a like. And if you want to hear more, subscribe. Remember to always check for mimics underneath that bed of yours. We'll see you next time.